The 2022 college football season is right around the corner, exactly 1 month away to be exact. And of course, that got me thinking, what is going to be Georgia's toughest game this upcoming season? Now, I know Dean or Ryan maybe have made a video on this already, but I haven't. So, of course, I want to give my thoughts as well. And the answer is pretty easy for me. I think Georgia's toughest game is going to be at Kentucky at the end of the year. Kentucky is the second best team in the SEC East. In my opinion, they have a returning quarterback and Will Levis, who a lot of people think is a top 10 quarterback, maybe a top 10 pick going into the next year's NFL draft. They have a strong defense, they have a strong offensive line, and probably the best running game that Georgia is going to see all season. They've got two backs that they love to run behind. Again, Will Levis is a strong quarterback, and it's never easy to play in Lexington. Now, Georgia has no problem winning up there, but it is a tougher place to play than I think people realize. It's at the end of the year. It's after Georgia plays Tennessee at home, Mississippi State on the road, then at Kentucky in November. It's going to be a little cold, but hey, I think Georgia is going to be up to it no matter what. It's a business trip. So they're going to go up there. I don't know if they'll have the East secured at that point, but if they win that game, they're going to win the East. I do think it's going to come down to Georgia and Kentucky. So, I think they are a strong team. I think they are a very respectable program and have been for a few years now. Again, they have a quarterback with a strong arm who can make a lot of plays. Now, he turned the ball, I think he threw 13 interceptions last year. That number has to go down. And they moved the ball somewhat against Georgia last year, and we saw what he was capable of when he was not getting sacked by Jalen Carter and the rest of Georgia's defense. So they got after him, and when you get after him, he's going to make mistakes. But they can run the ball, and I think they're going to be one of the better running, offenses, not only in the East, but in the SEC next year. So this could be one of the best Kentucky teams we've seen in quite a few years. I think Kentucky fans are excited about the season. And if they can beat Georgia, which I think a few people think that could be the case. I mean, there are analysts who think that South Carolina is going to beat Georgia. There are some that I think that think Tennessee could beat Georgia and Athens. I'm going to talk about in a second. I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think Tennessee is either the second or third toughest game. Watch out for Mississippi State. Will Rogers coming back again. It feels like he's been there for 8 years now under Mike Leach. He knows that system. Threw the ball around a ton last year, 4,700 yards. That's what they do. He's going to take what the defense gives him. He's going to make the correct reads. He's accurate. He's efficient. I don't think that he's going to launch the ball deep down the field and have success that way against Georgia, but we saw Mississippi State was a little tough to handle 2 years ago when they played in Athens. They're going to be out there in Starkville, one of the worst college towns in the country from what I've been hearing. Not super looking forward to go out and covering that game, but it's another SEC stadium, so I think that'll be cool at least. But they got the stupid cowbells rocking. I think that could be a closer game than people think. It's towards the end of the year, so I think you're going to have some injuries on both sides. I think you're crazy if you think Georgia's going to be 100% healthy going into this game. Both teams are going to have some bumps and bruises, and the same could be said for Kentucky and Mississippi State as well, both games towards the end of the season. So I think Georgia should go into Starkville and win the game. I don't think they're going to be in contention for the West at that point in time. So they're just winning to ruin Georgia's season. They're playing for an upset. And it can be a semi-tough place to play out there. But again, it's a business trip. Georgia's going to come in there with the right mindset. I expect them to be undefeated. And I don't think that they're going to trip up against Mississippi State. But I do think that's a game that could be closer than a lot of people think because they know what they're doing offensively. And Georgia's defensive line and linebackers are still a question mark. I think the secondary is going to be a very strong unit, one of the best in the SEC, but they need guys to step up, on the front seven. And they're going to be 4- and 5-star guys who are waiting their turn. I think they could be really good players. But Jalen Carter needs some help. Juwan Dumas-Johnson, the guy I think is going to start in the middle, he's going to need some help from Tresman Marshall, Chaz Chambliss on the outside. So I'm Munden there, but Nolan Smith and Robert Beal, those guys are going to help out getting after the passer. I don't think Georgia's going to have an issue getting after the quarterback this year, but inside and on the interior, other than Jalen Carter, they're going to need some help. And when you get after Will Levis, he's going to make mistakes. If you get after Will Rogers, you're going to make mistakes there. Tennessee at home. Tennessee has improved. Hendon Hooker does not turn the ball over. I think he only threw 3 interceptions last year. One of them was against Georgia. They had one of the best offenses in team history last year. I think they will improve somewhat. I don't think they're going to be as good as Kentucky. Maybe if this game was in Knoxville, Tennessee would give Georgia more of a fight. they're not coming into Athens and winning this game. Just not going to happen. They're not deep enough. And while they do have talent at certain places, they don't have the talent that Georgia has. And again, I think Stetson Bennett and Georgia's passing offense is going to have an excellent year. I don't think Hendon Hooker and Tennessee's offense is going to be able to match with Georgia in Athens. If that's a night game, I think that could be the biggest home game that Georgia has this upcoming season. So the fans are going to be ready. They're going to be rocking. Tennessee and Auburn are the two big home games, in my opinion, the two biggest at least. So if this is a 3:30 game or at night, I think Sanford Stadium's going to be rocking. I just don't see Tennessee coming into Georgia. Maybe they give them a fight for a half, but I don't see Tennessee winning that game. Florida, I think the only way they win that game is if Anthony Richardson turns into Cam Newton 2.0 circa 2010 and becomes like a Heisman hopeful guy. We know he's talented. We know he can run. We know he has a great arm, but he doesn't know where the ball is going half the time. He's not accurate. I don't know if he knows how to play the quarterback position yet. He's a very good athlete, for sure, right? He might be the most athletic quarterback that Georgia sees this year. But you still have to play quarterback. You still have to know what you're doing. You still have to read defenses, throw accurate passes, throw guys open, be mobile in the pocket, elude sacks, and not turn the ball over. And I think he still has a ways to go there. So as talented as he is, I don't think he has the help around him in order to beat Georgia in, again, the biggest game of the year, biggest rivalry game that Georgia has. If you don't beat Florida, you're not winning the East. Whoever loses that game has no shot at winning the East. Their season is over each and every year. So I don't think Georgia is losing that game in Jacksonville. I don't think it's one of the top 3 toughest games that they'll see all season. And no part of me right now is looking at these two teams and is saying, hey, Florida can win this game, or they should win this game. Again, unless Anthony Richardson just really turns it around and becomes this just ultra dynamic quarterback that he has the potential to be, I just don't see it happening. Vanderbilt, Georgia's going to win that game by 50. Auburn, earlier in the season, that's October 8th. Again, I think a lot of their tougher games are at the end of the year. That 3-game stretch of Tennessee, Mississippi State, and Kentucky is the toughest part of the season. Auburn and Zach Calzada, they're not coming into Athens and winning that game. Again, that's one of the biggest home games that Georgia has on the season. They're not losing to Auburn, a program that has no idea what they're doing right now. They don't have the talent. They don't have the depth. They have Tank Bigsby, a guy I really, really like, but Zach Calzada is not coming into Athens and leading Auburn to a victory. Georgia has their number. Kirby knows how to beat Auburn no matter who's coaching them. They've got a monkey on their back. They've got a bulldog on their back. They can't get it off. Georgia has taken that series and has run with it. I don't think Auburn is ever going to tie this series, which was once the most even series in college football. Georgia's taken that and they're running with it. And Auburn's not coming into Athens to win that game. Missouri, I think they've got like 14, 13, maybe not that, probably around 12 returning starters. They're a program that should be getting better. I don't know who the quarterback is. Connor Bazelak, I believe, is now at Indiana. So Tyler Macon, Cook, and then they've got another guy, Zach Abraham, I believe, transferred in, experienced guy. But a lot of returning players. I think they'll be improved on defense and on offense. But Columbia is not exactly a scary place to play. Depending on the time of the game, if Georgia gets out to an early lead and this game's at noon or around 4 o'clock, those people are going to leave the stadium. They're going to go off and do whatever they do in Missouri. But Georgia's not going up there and losing that game. Again, if they don't even know who the quarterback is right now, there's no way he's going to be prepared to beat the Georgia Bulldogs on October 1st. Not sure that one's going to be close, but I do think Missouri will be better than they were last year. South Carolina, September 17th, third game of the season. Super, super hot game in Columbia in the middle of that parking lot that they've got out there. No trees around. The sun's going to be beating down. 1 o'clock game. I think you have to like Georgia's chances there. They're the deeper team, so they better be ready to play a lot of guys. South Carolina's offensive line is not very good. Spencer Rattler is going to be running for his life. Get the Ivies ready. Again, the better conditioned team is going to win, and the deeper, more talented team is going to win, and that's Georgia. So this is not a place where it's going to be super rowdy. I think it will be for maybe one quarter before the fans, get exhausted from the heat. But this is not a crazy night game where it is tough to play over there. And they do have a solid team with depth. They don't have that right now. They've got a few talented players, but they don't have the depth. They don't have the talent to keep up with Georgia. Week 3 in the Sun, the deeper talented team is going to win that game. And then Oregon to kick the season off. I don't see the Ducks beating Georgia in Atlanta. Dan Lanning is a great coach. I don't see him taking a new program, turning it around and beating a Kirby Smart program in his first game. They're going to have some trouble. Bo Nix does not know how to beat Georgia. He's 0-3 right now. He's not going to win his first game against the Dogs in a new program for him under a new coach. Just not going to happen. I think Oregon fights hard. I think they're going to have a nice little season out there in the Pac-10, Pac-12, whatever you want to call it, whatever it's called nowadays. But I think Oregon's not beating Georgia in Atlanta. Again, Georgia's going to be ready for this game. They're going to be healthy, maybe the healthiest they are all year. I think that's safe to say. Georgia's going to come out, win that game in Atlanta. It's going to be full of Dog fans, basically a home game, and I think Georgia's going to take care of Oregon easily. But I do think they're a top 25 team, and will prove that throughout the season. They're not beating Georgia in Atlanta, though. So Kentucky could be the toughest team, in my opinion. Toughest game, especially with them being on the road. But watch out for Mississippi State. I think that could be closer than people think. And if Tennessee comes out, plays their best game of the year, I think they could keep that close. They're not winning in Athens, though. But I don't see them losing a regular season game. Let me know if I'm wrong. Leave a comment in the comment section. We love to look over those. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram. Make sure you pick up DAWGSTRUCTION and the 2022 season preview magazine that we have. Should have plugged that earlier in the video. That's my mistake. I know y'all love that when we plug that, the books and the magazine, but pick it up now. The season is right around the corner. Thanks for watching this video. As always, stay tuned to the next one coming up right now, and I'll see you over on Dog Post.